Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 40 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. Hooray! I am off in my main base here, noticing that there's a massive buildup of saplings in my sorting system here, starting to become a problem. Looks like while I was off building that awesome frame quarry, which I will get back to pretty soon, definitely in this episode, but just stopping by to check on how all my chests are doing. Looks like my dusts and gems chest is also getting rather full because I've got a bunch of obsidian in there. The metals chest is doing alright, and dirt and cobble, fancy blocks, we're cool there. So definitely need to do something about, yeah, we should do something like this. Let's grab portal gun, get out of this way here. Excuse me, sir, need to borrow you for a moment. And a wrench. I need to set up a new terminus module for saplings, so that saplings can route their way into this terminus module as well, which is now full, by the way. But the cool thing is that now all excess saplings should route into my Mark II relay. Cool. Let's see if that is the case. And how's this chest doing? Definitely full. Oh my. But we have plenty of saplings, so it's okay if we route extras in this direction. And they're worth a good amount of EMC, by the way, so I think they're worth the same EMC as wood. So that's nice. Starting to build up a nice EMC supply, but you guys will quickly learn that even though I have a ton of it, it looks like I really don't have much at all, because some of those items that I want to get in the near future for equivalent exchange are super expensive. But, alright, looking good so far. Added that to the system. I should probably do some chest upgrades in the near future, but, yeah, I'm alright on diamonds, aren't I? Let's do this. Dun 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 dun. I want to go with a gold to diamond chest upgrade, so I'm just going to need some gold ingots and some diamonds. Alright, that's not bad. I can handle that. I still have a bunch of inventory on me, but let's get about, you know, that many and that, right? I'm going to need 4 diamonds, I guess, and 2 gold ingots, and some glass, but I have plenty of that. So let's take care of it. So my problem chests so far have been the dusts, gems, and etc. has filled up. So let's upgrade that. Ta-da! Diamond chest. Fancy. Lots more space. And the same over here for my farming supplies. Yoink. Ooh, purdy. And while I'm at it, why don't we upgrade these guys directly to crystal chests? Only because the crystal chest upgrade is much cheaper. So, diamond to crystal chest upgrade. Let's give it a try. Crystal chests are cool because they show you the items inside. Ooh, fancy. I don't think it adds any inventory space. Definitely looks like it does not. But you can kind of see what's inside the chest. Awesome. I'm going to do the same over here. Purdy. So yeah, you can see there's a bunch of cool items in there. I mean, that just looks nice, doesn't it? Yeah, very nice. So we'll let all these items start resorting and handling the fact that they now have more space to expand. And then we'll have to figure out, you know, if we start having more problems with inventory, you know, we'll deal with it as time goes on. Alright guys, it's time to craft some cool stuff. So I'm putting some redstone and silicon wafers into my blue alloy furnace because I need a bunch of that stuff. Let's get ready to build ourselves a Red Power 2 computer. Oh my. Definitely a complicated build coming up. I need several items here. One of the fundamental items is bundled cabling, which I have a bunch of. Or not a bunch per se, but I have some of. And the other thing I'm going to need here, if I check out my inventory, is not bundled cabling, but this stuff, ribbon cable. And as you can see, I need some fine copper wires for this. So let's get about, I don't know, 3 pieces of copper here. Yeah, let's get 6. Why not? And just craft it up real fast. Combine them with our diamond draw plate to get our fine copper wire, and then we can get our diamond draw plate back and get ourselves some ribbon cable. Awesome. And then the components for a computer, I need an I/O expander, which requires 1 red doped wafer and some wood, a monitor, which I'm going to need some lime lumar for, I'm sure I can handle that, and another red doped wafer, and diamond block for the main CPU, and a blue trick motor for the disk drive. Oh my, you can already see, getting a little bit crazy, but not to worry, we've got everything we need. So I'm going to get a couple of the items I need ahead of time here, a bunch of this, a bunch of that, sure, why not. Could probably do with a little bit more, yeah, of this stuff. How you doing? Done? Good, thank you, sir. And I'll be back in a minute when I'm ready to craft everything. Alright, I hope I've got everything I need. So, of course, first I'm going to need a diamond block for one of my components here. Let's just do these in order that they are listed in NEI for me. IO expander first. Definitely going to need an IO expander, which is going to require some wood, some bundled cable, and some ribbon cable, and one of those red doped wafers. And of course I don't have much wood on me, so let's remedy that. Probably going to need more. That should be good. Alright. So, red doped wafer, bundled cable, ribbon cable, and there we go, IO expander. First component. I'll explain what all these do once I'm building my computer. Next, I'm going to need a monitor, which requires some lime lumar. So let's get ourselves some lime lumar. We just need some lime dye, some redstone, and some glowstone, and that gets us lime lumar. Cool. And look at me, I'm out of glass. Much better. Alright, glass, if I recall, and then what was the recipe on this guy? Bundled cable and red doped wafer. Alright, cool. Or ribbon cable, that it what was. And then some more wood, of course. Cool, monitor. Part 2 complete. Also, going to need a CPU. Central processing unit is important, which is a diamond block in the middle with wafers on the side. And some more ribbon cable. Ribbon cable obviously being a component in probably all the computer components here, and we've got a CPU. Nice. I'm going to need a disk drive, which requires a blue trick motor. I remember how to craft those, don't I? Probably. I've made a few of those in the past, so why don't I do that one off camera. There we go, disk drive. Now back to the disk drive, I need a blue trick motor and ribbon cable and some of this cool stuff. Awesome. Disk drive complete. Alright, what other components will I need here? I don't think I need back panes or RAM modules just yet, but I will need a 4th boot disk. Important. Redstone plus a blank floppy just being wood with iron in the middle there. So I can handle that, not a problem. Looks like I got just enough wood. And piece of redstone, please. My bag is quickly filling up with junk. I need to clean it up when I'm done with this build. 4th boot disk, important component of this whole thing. Got my sonic screwdriver, got myself some ribbon cables, some bundled cabling. Alright, I guess I got everything I need. How about I get out to my frame quarry machine and see how this goes down. I'm also going to leave behind some of the junk I don't need to bring with me. Cool. Alright, let's go. Spiders. And up to here. Alright, definitely time to get rid of all this stuff. I don't need any of this junk anymore. This was all for temporary testing purposes anyway, so let's clean it up. Where do I want to place my cool and awesome little computer here? And I'm going to place down some stone panels just to make this look nice. And while I'm placing that down, I'm going to consider where I want my control panel to be. So give me a few guys, I'll be right back. Alright guys, we've got this fancy little frame platform here. Let's start building a computer. Not entirely sure how I want to build it, you know, for aesthetic purposes, but for now, let's just start putting the components down flat, and then if we want to do something fancy later on, maybe we will. First off, placing right down here goes the CPU. CPU is important because it does all the work. And if you right click on it, you'll see this neat little interface that you probably won't have to change anything on if you're just building a basic computer. The only thing you'll want to use at some point is the start button, but we're not ready for that yet. Next, we're going to need a monitor. And you can see I'm placing everything right on the ground here so that it's connected to a frame. I could also place a frame behind it to make sure it was cool, but yeah, we're good. Maybe I'll place the monitor on top. Meh, why not? Sure, that might be cool. Yeah, let's do that. Monitor on top. So in order for this to work, of course, I'm going to need some frames going up behind the steely, but that's not a big deal. Cool. Now, making sure that these things all move over along with things. We're also going to need, the monitor, of course, is where you interact and run all your programs and coding and whatnot, but we're also going to need, connected to this guy, a disk drive. Disk drives are what we need to insert our floppy disk into, and we created a 4th boot disk, which LRM has given us, so that we can start using computers without writing our own operating system for them, which would be complicated. I'll next need an IO expander here, so let's get one of those guys ready as well. So let's place down our IO expander right there. That guy's cool. And out the back of the I/O expander, we want to run our bundled cabling. So the I/O expander is basically what allows the computer to talk to the bundled cabling. And if you right-click on your I/O expander, I think it's shift right-click with a sonic screwdriver or a regular screwdriver, you can see it's got this bus ID set. And you can do the same for the monitor, is set to bus ID 1, and the floppy drive is set to bus ID 2. And if we right-click on our computer, you can see that the disk drive is defaulted to bus ID 2 and the monitor is defaulted to bus ID 1, meaning that this CPU will talk to this monitor using bus ID number 1. The console is set to 1. And if we wanted to, we could change the bus ID of the console, but for your basic simple stuff, not really necessary. Cool. So we've got a fourth boot disk ready to go. So let's try booting this thing up and see if everything's working. Fourth boot disk goes in by right-clicking it on the floppy drive. And the floppy drive closes and we're good to go. And now I just need to boot up the computer by pressing the start button. And hopefully everything lights up. You can see the little red light turned on the floppy drive. And our monitor says Mine OS version 1.0 initialized. Awesome. By default, your computer will talk to a I/O expander on bus ID 3, so we don't have to worry about changing that, but maybe in a future build we'll start playing around with different bus IDs. So let's try doing something. If we want to talk to our white cable, we want to send a command over address space 1, and I'll get into the address spacing in a minute, but I just want to test to make sure everything's working properly. So if I do that, it should have just, pulled it up. Cool. And address number 2, I want to say, we'll do the down, the orange light. Cool, looks like it did. So let's do this. Oh, you know what? It's leaving the lights on. Yeah, I don't want that. So I have to remember how this works. This is, of course, not the best way to do it, but yeah, it's working. I just need to remember how this works. There's a couple different commands within Forth here, and I have to remember exactly how they are to do a pulse rather than to leave it on constantly. So me and Forth, I'm not a master of it yet. Hopefully, I will eventually get there, but for now, I'm pretty green at it. So basically, what we want to be doing here is using our I/O expander to send signals to each of our little wires here. And we're going to code up some commands that will allow that to happen to make it a little bit easier than typing out these long sequences every time. So I'll get into all that in a few minutes, but let's try doing a couple other things. Let me make sure I have all the information I need, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. Figuring out a couple commands with Forth. So what we want to do is, here's two different commands that we can set. First off, I can do the commands IOX, which will set the bit level on all the I/O expander right here, emitting a redstone signal over certain colored wires. So the basic gist here with IOX is if we set it to 1 IOX and hit the exclamation point to execute the command, it turns on the white wire, as you can see. And if we do 2 IOX exclamation, it will turn off the white wire and turn on the red wire, or the orange wire, as you can see there. Okay. And then if we want both to be on, we could do 3 IOX exclamation, and that would turn both on because 1 and 2 become 3. But right now I'm going to do 0 IOX exclamation to turn both off. So now we should be in pretty good shape. However, if we don't want to affect other wires while we're changing codes, which in this case we do not, we can use a command called IOX set and IOX reset. And what this does, if we do 1 IOX set and hit enter, it'll turn on the white wire. And if we do 2 IOX set and hit enter, it'll turn on the orange wire without affecting the white wire. And 1 IOX reset will turn off the white wire without affecting the orange wire. And guess what 2 IOX reset does? It'll turn off the orange wire. So if you want to affect the entire system as a whole and change, exactly what output is going on to the binary number or the decimal number or whatever, you use the IOX command. But if you only want to affect one colored cable, you use IOX set and IOX reset. Cool. And then we can use page to clear the screen. Now let's talk about how instead of having it turned on and stay on, we could pulse it. there's two sets of commands we're going to use here. We're going to do one. So let's do orange, because orange goes down, right? Yeah. So let's do the orange one, because we want to move this guy down a level. So what I want to do here is do to IOX set, which is going to move it down a level. And then I want to have it wait about half a second. So I'm going to do 10 ticks. And what ticks does as a command is it'll wait however many seconds or however many ticks you have in the number on the stack behind it. So we put 2 on the stack because fourth is a stack-based language, and then we execute the command IOX set, which sets the orange cable on. Then we put 10 on the stack and execute the command ticks, which tells this whole program just to wait about half a second. Because remember, there's 20 ticks in 1 second. And then we're going to do 2 IOX reset, which will turn off the orange light. So when I hit enter here and go look, the orange light is on, and about half a second later, the orange light goes off. So that command right here, 2 IOX set, 10 ticks, 2 IOX reset, will move the thing down 1 level. Cool. So now we've got our program that we can tell it to move down 1 level. But that's a lot of things to write. So let's do this. Let's define a new command called, and I hope I'm doing this right, this is from memory, head down. Sure, why not? Now we're in compile mode, so we do 2 IOX set, 10 ticks, 2 IOX reset. And a semicolon here will end compile mode, I hope. And now, what we should have done is, if we look at our words list by typing words, you can see there's a whole bunch of them. All these guys are built into the fourth boot disk language, but I've got the head down command now, which should, when I type it and hit enter, should move my crane down. But it looks like it didn't. So what did I do wrong there? Or maybe it was too fast, I didn't see it. Let's try it like this. Can I see the head down? Oh yeah, look at that, how quickly it moved. So it did work. Awesome. I like that. And then I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to just do the exact same command, but I'm going to do head up and do 1 IOX set, 10 ticks, 1 IOX reset, and a semicolon to say I'm done defining the new word head up. Enter. It thinks about it for a second, and we're cool. So now if I look over there, hopefully try and get this in view. So watch the redstone thingy over here when I type head up and hit enter. Ta-da! How cool is that, huh? And our little head is moving up and down. Awesome. Now let's program the head moving left and right. So the left command here is the light blue wire. And remember our, let's look at our wiring here. These are binary representations, so we have to consider 2 to the power of whatever. And I'm not going to do a binary explanation. If you want a little bit more info on how the whole color coding system works, you can look up some fourth information on the internet. I'll put a link in this video if I remember. If I don't, yell in the comments at me and I'll update the description. But yeah, you can also look at my Red Power 2 computers tutorial. But this is 2 to the 0, which is the number 1, which is why we're sending the command 1. And this is 2 to the 1, 2 to the power of 1, which is the number 2. So that's why we're sending the orange command number 2. This is not number 3. Number 3 is 1 plus 2. So in order to affect magenta, we have to do 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. And light blue is 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. And it's getting dark out, so I don't want to die or have creepers sneak up on me, so let's do this. So basically what we're looking at here is, 2 to the 1, 2 to the 2, 2 to the 3, 2 to the 4. 2 to the 0, 2 to the 1, 2 to the 2, 2 to the 3, 2 to the 4, 2 to the 5. There you go. And in decimal, the numbers that most of you are probably familiar with counting in, I can tell you exactly what those colors are. White is the number 1. Orange is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, blah, 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 blah. And black, all the way up at the top, is 32,768. So just, double your number every time and you'll get up there is the basic rule. So if I want to affect the light blue cable and move this guy to the left, because this guy moves everything to the left one, I want to go with the number 8. So let's write a command, head left, but remember you want to put a colon first to indicate you're doing a new command. Head left, and we'll do light blue is 8 IOX set, 10 ticks, 8 IOX reset, semicolon. Did I do that right? I hope so. And what that should do is just pulse the our light blue cable real quick and move everything to the left one. So head left, enter. Ta-da! Head move to the left. Sweet. Let's real quick get head right going. Head right, now that's number 4, which is the magenta cable. 4 IOX set, 10 ticks, 4 IOX reset, semicolon, enter. Give it a second to save that in memory. Head right, head right. Ha ha ha. And let's introduce you guys to another really neat command, the times command. If I wanted to move this thing right 5 times, I would do 5, to put the number 5 on the stack first, times, which is a word, which means repeat something X number of times, and then we put the word that we want to repeat. 1. Oh, you know what? I should probably be putting another tick delay at the end of this. Because I think it is pulsing it 5 times, but it's pulsing it 5 times in such rapid succession that it's too fast, isn't it? Maybe. Yeah, so give me a second. Let me try this. I don't know if I can overwrite a command like that or if it's going to yell at me saying head right already exists, but we'll find out. Nope, I think we're cool. So let's do 3 times head right. Haha, nice. So I'm going to recode all my things to have another half a second delay after the IOX reset command. Alright, that should be good. So now I should be able to do let's say something like this. 5 times head left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. And let's go 4 times head down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a computer-controlled crane. How cool is that? Let's move the whole platform a little bit. What do you guys say? So let's start programming some platform moving. It shouldn't be too bad, but we're going to need a longer delay between things. So let's move our frame head up, or yeah, 4 times head up. There we go. And while that's moving, which is awesome to watch, yeah, loving it. Let's think about how we want to move this thingy. So moving the platform to the left will be a yellow color. And yellow is the value of 16. So let's do colon platform left 16 IOX set 10 ticks 16 IOX reset. Do I want another 10 ticks here or do I want 30 ticks? And the reason I'm doing about 1.5 seconds, remember, is because that's what I have my repeater set to. So let's see if that's going to work for me. If I'm right, I should be able to move the platform to the left using this command. I hope. So remember, my repeater down here has about 1.5 seconds delay. So we don't want to send the yellow command more times than that repeater can handle. Let's do plat left just once, and the whole thing moves to the left. And while we're at it, I'm going to program platform right to the lime color real quick. So let's do it. Plat right is, lime is 32, by the way. Oh, I forgot to do a colon, which you guys probably noticed. There we go. Now when I issue the command platform right, it should move the platform to the right. And that's relative to the frame head. Oh yeah, look at that. Platform right. Cool. So now let's try let's do 3 times plat right. 1, 2, only moved twice, didn't it? Yeah, I think I need to have a longer delay there at the end. Let's make it a full 2 seconds delay. Flat right, we'll do 32 IOX set, 10 ticks, 32 IOX reset, 40 ticks. See if that's enough. Three times flat right. One. I think I just need to reset real fast as well. What you doing down here, buddy? Are you not resetting properly? Alright, give me a second to play with the numbers and I'll be back off camera. Alright, I want to shorten the length of these guys. Remember I made them 32 second delay, or 32 tick delays, which is about 1.5 seconds. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to shorten that up. So let's bump it all the way up. That's 1 tick, 2, 4, 8, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 16. So let's try that and see how well it works after I sleep through the night. So I bumped the delay on this guy up to 3 seconds, and it still wasn't quite enough, so I want to try it with a shorter delay. So let's try 3 times flat left. Go. 1, 2, 3. That does seem to be doing better. Yeah, look at that. I think that was better, actually. Just try that one more time. I was getting a little bit too long of a delay, I think, on my repeaters. 1, 2, 3. I like it. Alright, I'm going to shorten all my repeaters then. And 16. They should now be all set to 16 tick delay. So I should be able to... Let's try this with... where did I leave it off? Plat right at 40 ticks with a 2 second delay. So 3 times plat right. 1, 2, 3. Didn't really work exactly the way I would want. So yeah, I think I need a... Let's try this. I'm going with 50 ticks, and we'll see if that helps. 3 times flat right. 1, 2. Nope, I think it's too long. So we'll go with 60. Alright, 3 times flat left. 1, 2. You know what, we might be having power problems. Yeah, my power is draining, which is a problem. I need to get my battery box recharged here. That might also be a problem with the delays and whatnot. So let me get some more battery juice in there and I'll be back. Alright, real good official test now. 3 times flat left. Go. 1, 2, 3. And now, 3 times flat right. 1, 2, 3. Good. Alright, just coming back to say now that I have the proper battery power in here, it looks like 50 ticks between each movement is enough. I could probably even shorten it down maybe to 40, but I want to have a little bit of extra leeway here. So let's do 3 times flat right, and you can see I just set them both to 50 ticks. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And real fast off camera, I programmed plat forward and plat back, which will move my platform forward and back. So let's try it. 3 times plat 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 times plat back. 1, 2, 3. Nice. I've now defined new words within Forth, and remember, words can kind of be thought of like a grouping of commands, or like a, that's like a command that like runs a couple different things. I don't know. Elaram can explain that stuff. She's smarter than me. But I defined some stuff that does things, which is cool. Plat forward, plat back, plat left, and plat right. And I can type the words command here to get a list of them all. And you can see all the ones that I just defined here. They're like listed 16 times for whatever reason. But I don't know how that works. I'll clean that up maybe in a bit. But now that I've had my little bit of fun, I can probably clear this and reset it or something and just redefine those if it gets confusing. All right, so now I can do cool things. Let's figure out exactly how we want to proceed from here, and I'll be back. Alright, I find myself back in my house cooking up some more boules, some more of those neat little things that we can cut up into wafers, because I want to make some more solar panels, and these guys will charge the battery boxes on my frame thing, so I don't have to keep moving back and forth with batteries, which is starting to get to be a little bit of a nuisance. So silicon boules, and I'm going to need to carve these guys up with my saw. Where's my diamond hand saw? There it is. And chop these guys up into, 48 or so of those things. And then I'm going to need 1, 2, 3 stacks of nickelite. Oh my. Good thing I have a lot of this stuff. For all the silicon wafers that I want to get. Now this is going to take a minute or 5 to cook up, so I'll be back. Alright, back at my quarry, I've made a couple more battery boxes and some solar panels. Let's see if we can get this stuff hooked up and working. Ideally, I think I can move this guy and this guy and replace one, let's say here. Why does this have a thing here like that? I don't think that's necessary anymore, is it? Hope it's not. We'll find out. Hooray! Placing down a battery box like so, right on this corner here, will sync these two battery boxes up with each other. And then I should be able to place a solar panel right on top of this battery box and keep those guys charged. Well, I mean, it'll take a while, obviously, to charge them up, but, we should be getting somewhere with that. And the best way to test that everything's working, because Direwolf, he likes to test, and double checking, am I missing something here? I think I need a frame here as well. No, that would be a bad spot for a frame, wouldn't it? How about a frame here? That would be a good spot for a frame, wouldn't it? And yeah, this guy is not a good spot for a frame, simply because that's where, the whole thing's moving. So let me think for a second here. You know what? Do I even need... We should be cool without either of these, I think. Kind of hard to figure out if you need something until you try it, but I think we don't need either of those. That, hopefully, should do it. Am I completely crazy, or is that right? I think that's right. Well, only one way to test. Let's see, I want to do head left about, let's say 3 times head left. Well, no, let's just do it once, because it would be probably irresponsible of us to try and move it 3 times if there is something busted. Alright, it did move, and we didn't lose anything, so I think we're cool. Let's try head right as well, just to make sure. Cool. Let's try head right one more time, and then 3 times head down. Hey, I'm happy with that. Cool. So now we've got a nice little solar panel sitting here. He's happy. And he's going to start collecting energy for our battery boxes that control these frame motors. And these frame motors here shouldn't need too much power because they're not moving that much stuff. but my other frame motors that are underneath my main platform are moving a lot more blocks, and therefore require a lot more energy. So, popping back through here, let's figure out a good spot to set up our energy collection stuff. Where do we want to put this, I wonder? Do I just want another battery box sitting right under here, like this here? Might not be a bad idea. And the energy between the two battery boxes should like resync and establish with each other and balance each other out. And then what I can do probably is get some covers, some panels there, I'm sorry. I always say the wrong thing, because I'm a noob. What do I want to move? Probably, do I have some more blue trick cabling? Yeah, helps if I do it right. I have a little bit. I might need a few more. If I do, I'll head back to my base. Where do I want to put my solar panels, I wonder? Do I want to just put them like right up here? That might not be a bad spot. Or you know what I could do also is put them on the back. That might be cool. Maybe just like right back here. Not bad, right? And then I should be able to like loop it around here to one of these awesome things. And if I plug my solar panels directly into my frames, they should send the energy along through to the battery boxes. I hope I'm correct about that. And of course I need one more cable. Ha. But a good way to resolve this maybe would be to do something like this. Steal this cable, get another battery box placed here, which again will redistribute and balance out the system, sort of, somehow. And then boom, there we go. Now if everything's working properly, these guys should be collecting energy, and we should find ourselves having somewhat of a balance of energy here in our battery boxes once they balance back out. So I'm going to give that a minute and then see if we start generating some juice. And you know, it might not be a bad idea to get some nickelite, some copper here, and some wood to craft myself a voltmeter. Voltmeter will read the voltage on a wire. I don't really understand how it all works, but hopefully I can tell if it's doing something. So let's see. If I come over here to this wire, it tells me 93 volts and 10 amps. Okie dokie then. What's going on down here? 91 volts and 12 amps, 13 amps. Cool. I guess you guys are, yeah, look, energy's flowing in to the battery box. Cool. I'm happy with that. I think our solar panels are producing energy and sending them down the line through the boxes here and into the battery boxes down here. And I might even, for good measure, place down a fourth battery box. Why not? All right, I'll be back. And let's maybe just test that we can still do 3 times plat left. 1, without anything falling off, of course. 2. Not that I expected anything to fall off, but you know me, I like to test things. Alright guys, you can see I've repositioned my platform here a little bit, and I extended this little arm here. I think it's called a boom, by the way. And I made it about 16 blocks long. So I should now be able to come over here and type in 16 times head left, and it should move it left 16 times. And that should move it as far left as possible. Looking good so far. Awesome. And then I should also be able to do 16 times head right, and we'll be doing the same thing, all the way to the right. So now I can move it left and right 16 times each. So let's head back to our main base, and I'll be right back, because I want to sleep through this night. Alright, digging through my bag, looking for a color I haven't used yet. I haven't used light gray or cyan yet, nor have I used purple. I think purple's the one I want to go with for this. And I'm going to get down my wireless transmitter here, because now it's time to hook it up so that our computer can control the pulsing of the control frequency down there, which was 20. So let's get this guy set up to 20. And now all we got to do is set up a command to, let's call it dig. I don't know, right? Yeah. So let's do new command called dig. And we'll do, since we used purple, it's 1024 IOX set. 5 ticks, 1024 IOX reset. right? That should work. Wait, 5 times, caps counts here, guys, dig. 1. Yeah, I think I need a separate time delay here. So let's do that as dig. 1024 IOX set, 5 ticks, 1024 IOX reset. There we go. Because it shouldn't really have to be a long delay. And we're not going to be, digging multiple times without a movement in between. So let's do this. 5 times dig, just to see it work. Yep, it was quick, but it happened. Let's do it as 10. Pretty cool. Alright, I think what I'd like to do now is program what I'm going to call a cycle. And a cycle is going to assume that the quarry head is all the way to the right, and it's in the position that we want it to be in. And I want it to move left 16 times, and then dig each time it moves left, and then go down 1, dig, move right 16 times, and dig every time it moves right 1. So, let's see if I can figure out how to program that. Let's try this. I'm going to call a new word left dig. Now I should call this like, head left dig or left dig. I'm thinking left dig, because you'll never move the platform left and want to dig. So let's call it left dig, and we'll call that a command that will do head left dig. Right? Is that all I have to do? Let's try it. 5 times left dig. Hey, look at that, it's working. That was easier than I thought. Alright, let's do the same thing. Right dig will be head right dig, semicolon. And down dig will be head down dig, semicolon. Look at that. Sweet. So now I should be able to do a cycle. Now I can't use the times command inside of a word. Times can only be used when you're manually typing. So if I trying to find a new word using the times command, it's not going to work. I have to use a loop, and I'm going to use a do loop, which will loop a certain number of times. In more traditional programming languages, I think it's more like a for loop, but in Forth it's a do loop, and it'll loop a certain number of times. So what I want to do is a new command, call it cycle, and let's say we have to do the loop number of times first, so we'll say 16, and then the initial value of 1, do left dig loop. And that should do the left dig command 16 times. And then we want to do down dig, right? Because it'll move down 1, dig. And then we want it to go 16, 1, do right dig loop. Am I right about this? We'll find out in a minute. Hopefully, I didn't do anything terribly crazy. Come on. There we go. You ready, guys? Let's initiate a cycle. Look at it go, look at it go. And it's not going to be too exciting because it's, kind of high up off the ground at the moment. But look, it's pulsing every time it moves over. And once the boom gets all the way to the left, hopefully it'll immediately move down. Is that cool? So it won't really do much until it gets over here, I'm suspecting, but let's see what happens. Hey, look, it's working. And I could have moved it one more time over, so I should probably redefine that word cycle. I think I wanted to do it 17 times. But let's do one more cycle and watch it go. And let's see. It should now. Oh, you know what? We probably want to do another down dig at the end of our cycle as well. Yeah. Because otherwise we're just going to move left again without having gone down again. So we want to do one more number at the end of our cycle of left and right. So we want to go up to 17 instead of 16. But then we want to do, one more down dig at the end, which I'll do after I sleep through the night. And when I come back, this thing should be done with its current cycle. And we should really get to see this thing work now. And you can see me just programming the new cycle command, which will be 17. So we're going from 1 to 17. I should have done either 0 to 16 or 1 to 17. Both would have been about the right thing to do. But let's try this thing out now with a new cycle command. So he should, move over the top that he's already done. But then the next time he moves, we'll see the cycle actually working properly. So, and also this time, everything should move over to the far left, as far as it can go. But we're cruising, and we should be eating up everything. One more time, then down, and we're eating. Ha ha, that is cool to see. Look at that go. And then the final step should be another downward movement, and yeah. I guess the question is, do I want to start a cycle with going down, over, down, back? Or do I want it to be... Yeah, I might want to start a cycle by going down. Yeah, that might be smarter. So I'm going to reprogram that. There we go. It's only a minor difference. I think either one would work, but for whatever reason, I just feel like I want to have it go down, left, down, right, rather than left, down, right, down. I don't know why. And to properly make sure this is working right, we want to move our head up once to get it to go up one. And then it should start downward. So let's see an actual cycle running with a bunch of stuff to eat. So that should start by moving it down and then to the right. Our frame head is moving, guys. Dude, this thing rocks. And note how quickly it's tearing through the landscape. And also note how important this is. This is really important for you guys to pay attention to. How easy is it for me to expand this quarry head? Like, literally, all I got to do is make myself a few more block breakers and a few more frames and a few more pneumatic tubes, and I could make this quarry head as long as I want. I could make it 16. And since I'm moving 16 left and right, and if I had a quarry head that was 16 blocks long, I could effectively mine out like a chunk at a time. How awesome is that? And all the items are going up into this little small tiny chest right here, which is probably practically full by now. Yep, look at that. I'm pretty happy with this. Alright, you know what I'm going to do here, right? We're obviously not going to have a normal chest here. This is going to be an ender chest, and I think I need some blaze rods. So, good time to head to the nether and collect myself some blaze rods. And I know this episode is running long, but ideally I want to at least get this frame quarry completely done before I wrapped up episode 40, so you guys can use it in your worlds if you want to download this world. So don't mind me, I'm probably going to run long on this episode. It's already running long. In the nether, got my quantum suit leggings to protect me, got my little ring here to let me fly, and I'm going to go kill some blaze rods and or blazes and get their rods off camera. Alright, managed not to die while killing those blazes. And I'm heading back to my base now with about 10 blaze rods, which should be plenty. Ooh, and I even had a few inside that chest there, which really makes it plenty. And as promised, we're going to craft ourselves an ender chest, which is an ender pearl on the bottom, chest in the middle, some obsidian and some wool. Should get us pretty much what we need, right? Where am I here now? Obsidian on the sides, cool. Got more obsidian than needed, but that's fine. What color code do I want to use for my ender chest here? Good question. I probably want to do something simple, like, how about blue, blue, blue? Why not? I haven't thought of anything better. So, head over here in this direction. And what kind of junk is sitting in here at the moment? I should probably clean this stuff out. And get rid of this thing. Do I have an axe on me? It's probably in my bag. Too lazy to move it. There we go. That guy goes there. And we should... Gonna need to replace that in a second. Blue, blue, blue. Cool. Did I pick up that cover? Nah, it probably landed outside. And I'm gonna have to move my little thingy here. I'll be right back once I do that. And just setting this thing back up. Item sync module, default route, yes. Looking good. So now this guy should be reconnected to our network, and I can test that by throwing a piece of glass in. It should get sorted and pulled out pretty quickly. There it goes. And I have glass over here in my fancy blocks chest. Did I make it there before it landed? Yep, there it is. Good. So that's working. And from fancy blocks, let's get one piece of basalt. Hooray! So now we can put anything we want into the ender chest marked blue, 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 and it'll automatically get sorted. Let's demonstrate that now by placing it here and color coding it blue, 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 and putting a piece of glass in. We should see it get pulled out of this chest because both chests are linked, and it should land over here in my fancy blocks. This should become number 2. Hooray! So, blue, 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 ender chest, working for my main base. And now that I've got a freshly cleaned inventory, let's hook up and get rid of this. Get out of here, you junk. Knock this guy off, don't need him anymore. Ender chest on. And throw everything in there to hopefully get sorted. Right? Yep, there it goes. Doesn't know what to do with clay. I'll get back to that in a bit. Not a big, huge deal that I'm going to worry about right now. And I can even sort my chest, because I don't need that guy anymore. Should sort. Yep, there it goes. And let's give this guy a try now by running another cycle. Or 2, or 3. Let's do 3 times cycle. Go. And it should go down and start mining. And if I head back to my base, we'll see a bunch of stuff showing up. And this thing, as you can tell, is much faster than a standard quarry from Buildcraft. Look, everything's getting sorted, everything's working properly. I have a feeling I'm going to need to upgrade to a Mark III antimatter relay pretty soon. Yeah, awesome. How are we doing? I'm loving it. And it's digging. Now, how did that happen? This shouldn't have happened here. I want to see what might have caused this. This is going to cause my thing to get stuck if this happened. I don't think it had anything to do with chunk loading, I would hope. It's coming right at us. Might have had something to do with chunk loading, not sure. I did move pretty far away from this thing and there are no chunk loaders in the area. So, yeah, that's something to just be aware of. But it should have cleaned up everything. Cool. We should be getting some iron and stuff heading in our way, so that should be getting macerated and smelted. We come back here and take a look. And I'll be interested that now that I'm over here, if it unloads that chunk or anything. How are you doing? Yep, sorting everything. Let's put clay in our fancy blocks chest. Make sure that gets smelted now. And we can see some iron and copper zipping around here, getting smelted and macerated. Awesome. Back over. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, I'm pretty sure this is chunk loading, because it's only happening when I leave. So, gonna need a chunk loader on the head of this quarry, I think. And that'll be interesting, because I have yet to test chunk loaders on frames that move. So, here we go. Next cycle's moving down. Awesome. Also haven't had a chance yet to test if, you know, how well this thing works when it encounters lava or water. I'm assured it should be fine, but we'll find out, I guess, very soon. So let's figure out what we can do with chunk loading blocks and how well they like to hang out on, you know, a quarry. Alright, I've got myself a teleport tether. Let's place one like right here-ish. How about on the other side there, where that thing is? That's cool. So now if I F9 this guy, we should find our chunk boundary to be right about there. So if I F9 from up here, there we go. We can see that it's keeping this chunk loaded. And the best way to test this is to move our frame head right about 10 times. So let's do that. 10 times head right. Right, no, head left. There we go. And we'll see how well our... oh, well, that's interesting. Look at that. That's probably just a visual bug, I'm going to say. Yeah, because that's cool. Interesting. How are we now? Yes, look. This is the center frame. This is the center of the loaded chunks area. So it's loading this chunk and the one left of it. So if I'm right, what this means is that we shouldn't have a problem with our thing here. Awesomeness. And just to be like super triple extra careful, I'm going to go ahead and place this guy right there. Won't hurt. Cool. So now we should have lots of chunk loading and not have much to worry about with regards to chunk loaders. So if I move my head to the right again, and what I do, 10. Funny thing to note that it moves those little boundary lines. That's cool. It's only doing that. It's a visual bug. Don't worry about it. It's not actually hurting anything. So now if we check again, this should be the leftmost thing covered. So come down here, F9, F9. See? So I'm guessing chunk loaders are okay on a quarry head. And to really test this thing out, let's do this. I'm going to do 2 times cycle so that it's running, doing its thing, and I'm going to head back to my base and sleep through the night. So if the chunk loaders are actually keeping the chunk loaded, we shouldn't have too much to worry about with regards to items showing up over here. And I'm going to hang out on this side of the world for a few minutes just to see items showing up in the chest, right? Yep, there's a piece of dirt. Cool. He doesn't want to behave, does he? Yep, look at that. It got stuck again. Interesting. I really thought the chunk loaders would help with the sticking issue. Well, I might just have to hang out in the or at least near enough to the thing. Yeah. I'm gonna have to fix this manually for now. That's not a big deal. I'll just let the cycle finish. Huh. Alright, give me a minute to think it through, but I really thought the whole deal with chunk loaders might have helped. Here's our test for lava, by the way. It looks like, eat the lava as it goes down. And of course it might spill back through, but that shouldn't be a problem. It should cut right through it, but we'll find out in a few minutes once this cycle's done. Alright, just move the head back up to a good position to restart the cycle, and then we'll see what happens. I do want to watch it and see that it clears away the lava and whatnot. So you can see it taking care of stuff. And I told it to cycle 2 times, by the way. I'll be back once we get to the lava portion. And here it is, clearing through the lava. Not much to worry about. It'll just push through any moving lava source blocks, and it'll eat up any source blocks below. So not a huge deal. Looks like it worked pretty well. Alright guys, I've done a few tests flying back and forth between here and my main base using the portal, and so far I haven't gotten it to do that weird thing where it gets stuck again. So I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. I think we're doing okay. And this guy, oh cool, he gets stuck open. Ha, that's funny. Probably because I had the chest open when the portal moved it. Nice. Let's see if I can fix that. Just a visual bug, of course, again, so don't worry about it. Oh look, this guy got stuck open too. Again, probably just because it was open when the frame was moving. So let's do 3 more times the cycle. And I could obviously do this like 10 times cycle if I wanted to, but I'm just kind of having fun at the moment. I'm pretty happy with this frame quarry. Probably going to want to put a few more frames in here just to make sure I can dig down far enough. It's only got about 8 left. So what Y level am I at, by the way? Yeah, I'm around 64, so I should have at least a stack in there. I'm going to go request 64 frames out of my system. And here we go. Let's see if I had any of that weird buggery stuff. No, we're cool. Alright. I was over on my base for a while there making that little system, or the bunch of frames, so nice. Oh, and these cobblestone blocks, by the way, that was me. Manually put them there. Maybe at some point I'll put something in place that can help, you know, automatically do that, but I don't think it's really necessary. It seems to work fine just as well. It just makes a little bit of a lava mess if you don't have it there. Alright, just placing my frames into the deployer here. Now we have plenty, way more than we need, and that's good. I think I can almost call this thing done, except for the up and down motion. I'm going to pull the head up all the way, though. So let's do, I don't know, 20 times head up. Isn't that cool to see? I mean, how can you not love frames? Making a few more block breakers. Why not expand the head of this quarry? Heh. Let's demonstrate how easily we can expand this thingy. Just need to get myself some redstone tubes out of my pneumatic tubing here. Should be cool. Pretty low on redstone as usual. I'm going to have to just get some more. Why not? Definitely need to mine after I finish this build, because I've been transmuting a lot. You know, I'm not a huge opposed to the transmuting thing, but I felt like I should mine a little bit more. But hey, you know, this quarry should help me out with that. So I've got frames. I'm also going to need some covers and some panels probably. We'll see. I got covers. That's good. All right, let's go give it a try. So all we got to do to expand this thing is get these covers off here, because we don't want them there anymore. And you could literally probably have this almost as big as you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I just need my covers back on. The sides here. And block breakers. And a screwdriver. And some redstone pneumatic tubes. We'll probably only need about that many, right? Maybe a few more. So, there we go. Cool. And that's all it takes to expand our frame head. That's it, I think. We'll find out if I did something wrong. Let's tell it to move the frame head down. Enderman, he's scoping out my little design. What are you doing here, buddy? Oh, you know what? Forgot something important. Stone covers down here. I don't know what the Enderman was doing, trying to check out what I'm doing. Look at him, he's lurking. I should go after him. Yeah, what's up? I know. Makes me a little nervous seeing them around here. Alright, am I good now with all my covers? Yeah. So head down once and then we'll cycle 3 times. You know what? Maybe just 1 cycle. Just to make sure everything's working, which it should be. Look at that. We just doubled the effectiveness of this awesome little frame quarry. And of course, a few world holes are showing up, but that's just Minecraft being Minecraft. Nice. There we go. Even more. Everything should be running smooth, and it seems to be. And the Enderman's like, hey, dude, he put a block right there. What are you doing, man? Look at him. He's really messing with me. I couldn't script that. Did you see what he just did? Alright, it's not Enderman proof, but it works. Let's do I'm going to have to manually fix this. Yep, we're good now. Alright, I'm going to let this cycle about 5 times, and I'll be back once it's done to show you guys the result. Alright guys, you can see my quarry doing a pretty nice job here. I think it just finished up with the cycle that I gave it to do. Awesome. I wonder what's going on back at my base, by the way. I bet I'm overloading my antimatter relay with dirt and stone and all that junk. But I'm not worried about it. And look at us, we're over an hour. Hope you guys enjoyed watching an hour-long episode, episode 40 of Direwolf20's Let's Play, wrapping up now. Definitely way past the old wrapping up point, and probably past the new one that I said I'd try and get this in an hour. Yeah, it took an hour 10. Oh well. So this is Direwolf20 signing off on episode 40 of Direwolf20's Let's Play. I got the frame thing going pretty well. The only left to do is get this whole platform moving up and down, which is really a pretty simple task. But I'm going to leave that to you guys if you guys want to do it, or you can come back to the world download in episode 50, where hopefully I will have done it by then. So this is Direwolf20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and the world download can be found on the forum thread linked in this video. Take it easy.